Hello everybody, welcome to your second video, and here we will talk and analyze Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was written between 1891 and 97 in London, England by Bram Stoker. So here we go. Now, as we spoke about today in class, it's a novel in the Gothic genre, and the narrator are different personal journal entries, letters and telegrams recorded or written by the main characters. The tense is mostly past tense. The setting and time is the end of the 19th century, and the place is England and Eastern Europe. And the protagonists are the members of Van Helsing's gang, that is Van Helsing himself, Jonathan Harker, John Seward, Arthur Holmwood, Mina Murray and Quincy Morris. And here we have the major conflict, where the group of people are being threatened by this vampire. And presenting the themes, which are mainly the promise of Christian salvation, the consequences of modernity and the dangers of female sex expression. Bram Stoker, he was born in Dublin, Ireland in 1847. He was the son of a civil servant, and his mother was a charity worker, and she spent a good deal of time with Bram to entertain him with fantastic tales, because Bram, he was a sickly child. He graduated in 1867, and right after that he joined the Irish Civil. Bram Stoker also worked as a freelance journalist and a drama critic, and thanks to this he met a lot of other authors, and among others he met the legendary stage actor Henry Irving, and they became very good friends. And Stoker, he took care of Irving's theatre, and there he met Oscar Wilde, Arthur Conan Doyle and Alfred Lord. Now, the Dracula family is actually based on a real 15th century family, and its most famous member, Vlad Dracula, who you can see here, he was a savage general who impaled his enemies on long spikes. And Dracula, he is supposed to be a descendant of Vlad. And this historical allusion gives Dracula a semblance of truth. Like Stoker, he wants to suggest that the documents assembled in the novel are real. And to this day, Dracula remains a fascinating study of popular attitudes towards sex, religion, science at the end of the 19th century. And on to the consequences of modernity. The end of the 19th century brought drastic developments that forced English society to question the systems of belief. Darwin's theory of evolution, for instance, put the sacred religion into question. And here you can see a quote made by Harker. Dracula, he leaves Transylvania to go to London, and he does that for a reason, because in London the modernity is so far advanced that the people have lost track of the other side. So when things start happening to Lucy, Mina and Lucy as well, they don't have any idea what's happening. Now, the only one who understands what is wrong with Lucy is Van Helsing, because he has knowledge of the modern medical techniques, but he's also very open-minded. Now, to help the group to solve this problem with Dracula, Van Helsing, he uses knowledge, but all knowledge. Not only knowledge about the modern technology, but also the knowledge of history. And we continue with the next theme, which is the threat of female sexual expression. In the Victorian England, women's sexual behavior was dictated by society. And a Victorian woman, she had two options. Either she was a virgin, or she was a wife and a mother. All other women were considered whores. So Dracula, he succeeds in transforming Lucy into a voluptuous woman, And when she becomes this sexual vampire, the men of Van Helsing, they see no other option than to destroy her, to transform her purer and more socially respectable again. And the final theme, which is the promise of Christian salvation. Now, the most effective weapons in combating supernatural evil are, of course, the symbols of unearthly good. In the fight against Dracula, these symbols of good, they take the form of icons of Christian faith, such as the crucifix. And on the other side of good, you have the bad, and Dracula stands as a satanic figure, and obviously in his appearance, pointed ears and fangs and eyes, but also in his consumption of blood. And this bloodthirstiness is actually a perversion of the Christian ritual. Now, this drinking of blood, it extends Dracula's physical life, but it cuts him off from any form of spiritual existence. And that is, of course, the case for Lucy and the Weird Sisters, that they can live forever, but their lives will be soulless. Now, even if Lucy and the Weird Sister, they are preyed on helpless children and have sought to bring others into their awful state, each of the women, they meet a death that conforms to the Christian promise of salvation. So that is, no matter what you do, you can be saved. And Dracula, rather than gain eternal spiritual life by consuming wine that has been transformed into Christ's blood, Dracula, he drinks actual human blood in order to extend his physical but quite soulless life. Now, we see signs of modernity very soon in the model when the focus is shifting to England. We can see Dr. Seward, he records his diary on a phonograph, and Mina, she's practicing typewriting on a machine. So the England is the future of progress, while Transylvania is still blessing each other from the curse of Dracula. The icons of Christian worship appear throughout the novel with great frequency. The peasants of Eastern Europe, they offered Jonathan Harker crucifixes to protect him against Dracula. And later Van Helsing, he arrives armed with crosses and communion wafers. So Van Helsing's mission, it's an explicitly religious one. And he says he is a minister of God's own wish himself. And the symbols, the Weird Sisters, promise of both a sexual fulfillment but a curse as well. And the stake driven through Lucy's heart, which is a symbol of phallus. And the boat, Xasrina Catherine, which is the boat that takes Dracula back to Transylvania. And now we've reached the end of this summary of Dracula. I hope you liked it and that is going to help you in your studies. Okay, see ya, bye!